frère Jacques, dans mes vues, sunny la mattina, Claude's just gone, Claude's just gone. Start the show.
London has been good to me this time around. Things were never bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact and I can find no ribs. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and eras don't dictate.
Confucius says, if at first you don't succeed, then you better give up. Confucius also says, he who laughs last is a little slow. Ho! Hello and welcome to Xandermonium, the talk show that gets you talking. I'm Xander Gibb, and on today's show, London Calling with Jeff Kristian and his guest, Jesus Hooligan, which are a band, Xander's Soapbox, and more of your questions in Ask Xander. More to come in a mere moment. So you can interact with me via Twitter. You can tweet me. Oh yes, you can. We'll be live tweeting during the show. You can tweet me at Xander Gibb, XanderGibb, capital X, capital G. Make sure you follow and keep up to date with what's going on with the show. And now it's time for London Calling. So on this week's London Calling, Jeff sent Soozi Chameleone to talk to Jesus. No, not Jesus up there, as in my savior. Jesus as in Jesus Hooligan, a British band with eccentricity for miles and miles and miles. Shut up, Claude, and just play the tape. Just play that tape.
Apparently, on this week's episode of London Calling, Soozi Chameleone is talking to Jesus. Yes, he's finally a guest on the show, Xander. Oh, wait a minute. Jesus Hooligan, and they're a band. Nothing to do with the Son of God. Over to you, Jeff.
Hello America, London Calling.
Shh, listen. Can you hear that? That's the beat of the heart of London. Fabulous, isn't it? A steady rhythm by which we can live our lives. The Soozi Chameleone spiritual couple who take rhythm to a whole different level. Can you hear the drums, Fernando?
Thanks, Jeff. So today I'm here with the creator and frontman of tribal punk outfit, Jesus Hooligan, Steve. Hello, Steve.
Hello.
And his lovely wife, Karen. Hi, Karen.
Hello.
Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you very much.
To talk about Jesus Hooligan. So, I mean, where did it all begin for Jesus Hooligan? I mean, how was this completely unique project formed?
I've always sung in punk bands, and that went on for years. And then I got ill and couldn't sing live anymore, so just started doing my own stuff with like noises that I liked. So, I mean, I lived on a farm, so there was tractors, stuff like that going off. Believe it or not, gates, chains, things like that. And that's being a builder as well. There was angle grinders involved, and it just sort of grew from there. I'd be at work drilling things or cutting things up with an angle grinder, and I'd be singing my head off. So I thought, you know, or cleaning wheelbarrows out with hammers, and I'd start singing, and it just sort of started from there.
So speaking of how you've grown, Jesus Hooligan has grown into something that encourages everyone to join in the form of your famous drum circles that are now seen at mostly at your outdoor festival appearances, or you know, wherever can accommodate you, really.
Yeah.
Why do you think that people have responded so positively to this?
You know, I don't know. I think a lot of it's a tribal thing where. That's it. It's
tapping into that primitive instinct.
Definitely. I mean, me and the wife, we were sort of brought up on farms. I've known her since I was 8, and we met around a fire. And it's sort of, it's, you know, I suppose it's in us. And of course, I noticed very early on, because I like the sound of barrels, so when we started doing it live, I just had barrels with the chains on it, because when you hit a barrel with a big stick and the chains, it makes a lovely sound. It continues. And that's where that started. Then I noticed people actually wanted to hit the barrels. So I started off with, like, the first gig we'd done, there was me and a barrel, basically, and a guitar and things like that. But then I noticed more and more people were actually standing there going, "Can I hit it?" And so I started getting more and more barrels in, and of course then it just grew from that. And of course, having my wife sort of behind me, I'd go, "We need more barrels," and she's like, "Yes, let's get more barrels." So it's like, so that's what we've ended up with, like a big army.
Goes the summer house.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I filled the summer house up with barrels and the garden, and now we've had to actually we put them in a lock-up because my wife wanted the garden back. The summer house. So we've got a garden.
And a warehouse for barrels.
But I think the participation thing, I always take it back to when you're a child. Your mum puts you on the floor with saucepans and a wooden spoon, and you automatically do it. And I think it's a grown-up version of that. Because when you're sitting on the kitchen floor, you're having fun, you're making noise, and everything. It's just a grown-up version of that. I always think. Anyway, you look at their faces; they're beaming, covered in sweat, and they're having the time of their lives.
Yeah. I get
it's
the
an endorphin thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, it gets the adrenaline going.
Oh yeah.
On your album, Touch Pure Passion, it features a song called "I Met Her Mate" as an example of the somewhat crude lyrics you speak of. Some of the lyrics, such as "You lie and bitch, I'd even call you witch. Your men kill themselves to be rid of you. You look a mess, I don't pity you." I didn't say that right at all, but never mind.
You got the gist.
Have you had any negative backlash
No.
Because of your lyrical style? No.
The thing is, I don't write songs that, you know, I haven't got a thesaurus and I put in a word that, and I get it right. Every song I write is actually an experience I've gone through. That's why I write about love songs about the wife. Basically, all Jesus Hooligan songs are love and hate songs, because that's all part of life. So if I experience something with one person, I'll write about it, and it goes into a song. That is actually that's the second part of it. Like the first one's I met a woman, and the second one's I met her mate, and it's based on it was a lady, should we say, who wanted. How do you put this? She wanted me to sleep with her, and I turned her down. And since then, she's done nothing but try and cause me a lot of trouble. And it's based around that, really. And it actually came to a head one night where she actually became. I think because she couldn't get what she wanted off me, because I mean I don't really like her. She's not a nice person, and she looks like she's chewing about 5 wasps all the time. So it's like, you know, and no, she's just not nice. But it actually came to a head one night where she actually very vocal and very vicious. And I remember, of course, I wasn't retaliating because, you know, she's meant to be a woman and I'm meant to be a bloke, so I'm sitting there taking all the abuse. And I just noticed the shape of her body, And that's where the song came. The first word that went through my head was, "You've got the body shape of a Weetabix." And that's basically where the song started. Every time she spoke at me, it didn't smell good, so you've got the breath of a whore, which is not, I mean, they're not nice lyrics, but she's not a nice person.
She's not a very nice lady.
The whole,
you need to get that out somehow. If you feel like you can't, retaliate with abuse back because you want to be a gent, then use your music. That's what a lot of people do. So,
and as I say, everything I write about is of personal experiences, and I actually stand by every song, because I don't write songs. I won't write a song that means nothing. I don't actually understand that. There's so many bands out there who've got albums full of songs, and if you actually say, well, what does that mean?
It's empty.
There's nothing.
Yeah, rhymes with something.
Yeah, and they'll just work it from there. No, I don't want to do that. I'd rather sing about,
personal experiences that make it in a completely unique way.
Well, then you've got the passion behind it, because you know what each line means.
That's it for this week. Back to you in the studio, Xander.
That was indeed London Calling with Jeff Kristian, Soozi Chameleone, and Jesus Hooligan. Be sure to check them out on social media. London Calling is produced in association with Mr. Binks Media. Should get that Mr. Binks on here one day. And now it's time for Xander's Soapbox. So for those of us who are sick to death of the presidential race, I am here to remind you that we have at least 6 months more left of this farcical comedy that is the run-up to the general election in these United States. It's down to the final few and the gloves are off and it's getting down and dirty. Now, interestingly, the majority of us, including myself, are still not decided on whom they will be backing in this race, and the indecision is clearly palpable. Now, the choice is not only as different as chalk and cheese, but we are given very little to go on policy-wise. Now, we know they all think they can do the job, but they just don't want to tell us exactly how they will achieve their objectives. So commentary about uninformed voters is kind of laughable, to be honest. And how does one get to be informed when the information is just not out there? Now, all of this is before we get to the Wifegate problem. Do we really, as the voting public, have to choose between whose wife is the hottest? Do we? Now, of course, most people are going to side with the wife of the candidate they are backing. And it seems to be just one more reason for divide. The National Enquirer then chimed in with their hilarious accusation that one of the GOP frontrunners had 6 mistresses. Now, in fairness, and I'm not being rude here, but I'm surprised, based on looks, he even has 1. And respectfully, why is the wholesome looking one always the one to get accused of infidelity? Now, one is left wondering, after all of the things that have been said, why a complete retraction has not been demanded by now. Because if someone made allegations of that ilk about me, I would sue for sure. Now, doubt still seems to surround the Democratic candidates, with everything from email service scandals to responsibility from Benghazi to Reds under the beds. I must say this has been the most interesting campaign to date, and I fear it will only get worse if it is so cutthroat already, which it is. Things can only get worse from now, or can they? So watch this space. Now, there is a feeling that if Trump is the nominee, that some Republicans will vote for Hillary. I've actually heard Republicans say that, and I really can't work out Who are they trying to punish by this action? And why cut off one's nose to spite one's Republican face? Now, it has actually surprised me how deep a rift has formed within the GOP even, and some people have theories that the split was contrived from the beginning. I mean, let's face it, a lifelong Democrat running on the Republican ticket. And I hear you saying out there, Xander, didn't you used to be a Democrat? Yes, I did. And I changed my political leanings. I evolved. And everyone's allowed to do that. But just remember, I am not running for office. Now, it's such an important decision as to who to give your vote to. Let's face it, you only get one. In all honesty, I am so torn right now politically. I'm really unsure as to who I will support or even when I will decide who I'm going to support. But it will, however, take rather a lot of persuading. Now, as you probably know, chocolates will help to persuade me. Are you listening, Donnie, Ted? Seriously though, the thought of making a decision as to who I will support is kind of scary. And to steal a thought from Lindsey Graham, the choice given is as to whether one to be killed by stabbing or gunshot. Rather an apt comparison, methinks. And unless one of the current front runners changes pretty radically, I will still be without a choice of candidate to back. Now, my predictions for the outcome of the election, I've said for an age that sadly Hillary will win either by a landslide or by the skin of her teeth. President Clinton has an interestingly eerie ring to it, right? Let's hope she treats her interns a little better than her husband did. Now, as for the GOP race, I predict that if the Donald wins the votes, that the GOP will go in another direction and even possibly use someone who didn't even run in the race. Now, the knock-on effect of this is that the GOP's reputation will be severely tarnished in the eyes of the voting public, and sadly, yet another reason to not vote for Republicans. Now then we come to the Donald's reaction. He will quite rightly use the opportunity to crucify the GOP and of course run as an independent against Hillary. Now we can then say hello to another term of Democratic destruction, but remember this, viewers, the outcome of this ridiculous farce is really up to you. That was Xander's soapbox for this week. If you'd like to get on your soapbox, send us your videos at xandergibb.com/contact. Now, please make sure you send them on MPEGs files and no more than 5 minutes and no profanity, okay? And you, Claude, stop with your profanity on the set. Now it's time for Ask Xander. Seriously, he's always swearing in French, and I'm just glad my French is not that good. So David from Newtown is our first cab off the rank today, and he wants to know if I ever tried Tang. That also has to be the most obscure question of the day, and Dave, sadly, the answer is no. Sally, who is from Gambry, writes, Xander, what's the worst thing you ever did for a bet? Well, the worst thing you can share on the TV. Well, I think it has to do with drinking copious amounts of alcohol. And then getting up to sing on stage. Worst thing I can share on TV. How cheeky! So Sammy Joe from Bethel wants to know what my nickname was at school. Okay, Sammy, I'm going to tell you that it was Bunny. You get to know the name, but not the reason. That will cost you copious amounts of either chocolate or alcohol. Feel free to send it to the studio. Greg, also from Bethel, asks, Xander, who is your favorite female singer of all time? Why, oh why, Greg, do I only ever get to pick one? Well, I'm gonna name a few. Charlene Spiteri from Texas. The state, no, I mean the band, of course. Gaga, and also Susan Black. Make sure you check her out. Ted from New Fairfield writes, Xander, do you like Beethoven? I never listened to Beethoven. And more of a Shostakovich guy. Okay, last question comes from Carrie from Stamford, who wants to know, what was the concert that I went to last? Really can't remember. It was so long ago. I think it would have to be Cyndi Lauper. Thanks to you for your question, Carrie, and thanks to everyone else who wrote to us. That's Ask Xander for another week, and as usual, you can send your questions and comments to me at xandergibb.com/contact.html. That's xandergibb.com/contact.html. So that's it for Xandermonium today, and don't forget to join my mailing list at xandergibb.com and follow us on social media. Thanks to Jeff, Kristian, Soozi, Chameleone, and Jesus. Yes, thank you, Jesus. But in this instance, I'm talking about Jesus Hooligan, the British band. Thanks to Claude and everyone that's worked on the show today. And most of all, thanks to you for watching. I love you all. Stay cool out there. Bye-bye.
Desmond does a burrow in the marketplace. Molly is the singer in the band. Desmond says to Molly, hey, I like your face. And then he says to her and takes her by the hand. He does. He takes her by the hand.